Good morning, guys. So I think I picked out the sweater that I'm going to make with that sparkly green fabric. It's the patterns for Pirates Relaxed Raglan. So I really want to buy the toaster sweater, but I already have a raglan sewing pattern that I know fits me really well, and it does have some collar options, so I can do a funnel neck if I want. I've done a funnel neck before, and I can crop it and make a bigger band. I don't know. I'm torn on whether or not I should buy the toaster sweater. There is the Seamwork Astoria too, which I will show somewhere here, that is like a cropped vintage sweater. I have a decent amount of yardage, and I'm wondering if like maybe I can make two and then do one with the reverse fabric and one with the sparkle fabric showing. So we'll see about that. This morning I have a 9:45 consultation with a model who is looking to improve her posing. So that should only take me like an hour. I'm gonna try to cut out the relaxed raglan this morning. We'll see how it goes. Also, I got the DJI Osmo Mobile, and I'm on the struggle bus with it. Also, I don't think face tracking works like great. Oh, it's tracking just my nose. So originally I bought this to try to use the tracking feature to take outfit pictures and videos. I don't know if that's gonna work. We'll find out. I think I just need to get used to it. I've never used a gimbal before. Like I said, I'm not a real YouTuber. I'm an imposter. Also bought this mini recycling bin from the dollar store to put like thread scraps in, because I'll just throw them on the floor. I'm a degenerate. But all right, so I think the game plan is to get ready first, and then like get ready for my day, and then start cutting stuff out. So if I run out of time, it's not like I'll be at my appointment in my pajamas with not a stitch of makeup on. Okay, we're ready now to live our lives. It's 8:38. I'll give myself a half hour to cut it out. Hey Siri, set a timer for a half hour.
30 minutes, counting down.
Got it, cool.
So I haven't gotten this pattern into a smaller envelope yet, but for Patterns for Pirates, I find I need the cut chart a lot. I really wish that they would actually just make a pattern piece for like neckbands and armbands, but they won't ever do that. I've also found that with this pattern, I actually need to lengthen the neckband by 2 inches to get it to fit nicely. I was struggling for a while with trying to ease it in, and it just wasn't working. It was too tight. It might be my fabric choices are never quite right. I think you need 50% stretch for the neckband, but you know, don't be afraid to recut it and start over.
So I think I'm gonna have to go with black serger thread. I only ever have black, gray, this white color, or this rose color, which blends really well with a lot of stuff. This brown color is just a random bulk buy. I don't have a green, so I think I'm gonna have to go with black just because it blends in better than the white. So I try not to rethread my serger 100%. What I do is I'm going to tie the new thread to the old thread that's still in the machine, turn the tension down to 0, try to pull it through. It doesn't always work, but if it doesn't work all the way, normally it works halfway, so it saves me a bit of rethreading. I hate rethreading my serger. I don't know if you can tell.
You just gotta make sure you get the knot past the first little tension bar guy, and it works like 99% of the time. It saves me literally like 20 minutes in threading my serger. So I thought I would include this in case anybody else kind of, you know, needed to figure out how to do it quickly.
Lift your presser foot, turn everything 0.20. Needle up. So we are just gonna sew this up really quickly. Remember to set your tension back again. I've not done that before. You want to match your arm piece to the front piece, sewing everything right sides together. It'll go super quickly. There's no easing on a raglan sleeve, so raglan sleeves, you know, just go in there really quick. We're also going to assemble this kind of factory style. So you attach the sleeves to the front, zip those up, then attach the sleeves that are attached to the front to the back. It all goes really quickly. I mean, I did the main construction part in like an hour or two. Cutting can be kind of finicky depending on what kind of fabric you have. This one was definitely finicky, but you know, you just want to make sure that you're stitching everything right sides together, including your seam allowance. That's still important. You don't have to make this on a serger. You can definitely make it on a sewing machine with a zigzag stitch or another stretch stitch. I just like the serger because I think it looks a little bit more professional, but you don't have to have one to make anything. Getting that last little sleeve attached to the back piece, and then you're gonna have the side seams to sew up. I like to match the armpit first, that way I know that seam's lined up, because I can always trim a little bit off the end of the sleeve or the hem of the shirt. So just pin all the way up to there. And then last minute I decided to do some side slits on the shirt, so I just left like 9 inches up from the bottom of the shirt, and I'm making the tunic version. I'm not sure if I made that clear. Left 9 inches up, and I'll kind of show you how you do that in a minute. But you just want to serge down, really easy, really simple. Again, this is a very quick make unless you have issues with the neckband, which I 100% of the time do. And then do the other side. I guess I don't really need to show you guys the other side, but you know, while we're here, it's quick. It'll take a second. Again, match up that armpit seam and then pin out from there. I like using the Wonder Clips just because I don't want my serger to ever hit a pin. Happened once and I broke my serger blade, and thank God I wear glasses because it flew off right into my eye and just hit my glasses. And again, just sewing. I'm personally sewing from 9 inches from the bottom, and I'll show you how we finish that in a minute. Now the tricky part, you're going to want to quarter your neckband piece after you serge it. So you serge it right sides together and then fold it so that the seam allowance is on the inside, and you're going to want to quarter your neckline. Now, like I said, I have to add 2 inches to the neckband piece to get it to fit. I don't know why I have such issues with it. I think it has to do with the fabrics that I choose. I also, instead of the 2.25 wide, I like to do 3 because I feel like the 2.25 does not give me a lot of wiggle room. Another tip for these is if you like to baste before you sew, there is nothing wrong with basting this in with your machine. In fact, if I took more time and did that, I'd probably have less issues. And once I'm done assembling this, we're gonna switch to my regular sewing machine, and I wanna make sure that you guys are using a stretch stitch or a ballpoint needle for knit. So I'm gonna use one of my stretch stitches. These guys here, the triple stitch is really good. I like the lightning stitch because it's way quicker than the triple stitch. So I'm gonna stitch down my neckband so it lays a little flatter, and then I'm gonna do the hem and the arms. So I'm basically using my lightning stitch, which is a stretch stitch, to kind of stitch down the seam allowance of my neckband. I have problems with it waving a lot. I don't know why. I never can get them 100% right. I guess practice makes perfect. Maybe I just needed to make this more. But I'm also going to use this lightning bolt stitch to just turn up and hem the arms and the hem of the shirt. I'm also going to do a mitered corner on the flap, and I'll kind of show you how I do that. So I don't ever use the sleeve arm for knit stuff. I don't know. I think these sleeve arms are really little, and it just would stretch them out a bunch to do it that way. So I just sew them flat and kind of make sure that I'm not, you know, catching the other side of the sleeve. It's not that hard. This is just simple. I turned it up.
If I made this again, I'd probably make the sleeves a little shorter just because I wear them pushed up all the time anyways. And for this, we're just gonna miter the corner, and I showed you like larger how to do it there. You fold in the corner and you just kind of fold it in so it's a nice mitered edge. So to make sure that mitered corner stays in place, I kind of did the first inch on the side slit and then did the bottom end just so it wouldn't move around. They're a little finicky sometimes, especially if you have a slippery knit like I do, but it worked out okay. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna hem the bottom pieces and make sure you do those mitered corners, and then do the other side, so front or back flap, whichever one you're working on. Now there's probably a more professional way to do this, but I'm just kind of hacking it as I go, so we're not getting a professional way. So go ahead and do the other side. Take your time, don't stress out. The lightning stitch and the triple stitch can, just take forever to do a little bit, but I didn't feel like breaking out my twin needle, and I think this works just as well and looks just as nice. Get that other mitered corner, put a stop stitch in, and then basically what I did is I matched the stitching on the side just a little bit above the slit and kind of made it so that I just continued the hem out from there. That way it looks a little bit more natural and there wasn't a whole lot of, weird wiggly bits. I still got a little bit of waviness that kind of went away after I washed and dried it, but we're just experimenting here. Worst case scenario, I crop it off and make it a crop sweater. But I think I like this length, and I think it's going to be a little bit more versatile for me in my day-to-day wardrobe.
Okay, so I have everything hemmed up. I'm gonna give it a press and then I'm gonna put it on. Hopefully it looks good.
Make sure you get all those little threads. I ended up having to use a pressed cloth, which you'll see in a minute, because I was pressing it and my iron heated up a little bit too hot and I was losing some of the metallic finish on the fabric. Always use a pressed cloth. Don't let you burning your fabric be the reason that you do it. But yeah. So, just giving it a good press, and then I think, especially with the neckband, after I wash and dry stuff, it looks a lot better. So that's what I did. I threw it in the dryer, and this is what you see here.
I'm done with the sweater. I'm wearing it. I feel kind of lizardy, even though it's supposed to be sparkly. I did have a little bit of waviness on my top stitching. I think after a couple washes it'll kind of settle down a little bit. I might crop it off and cut off my side slits that I work so hard at. They're a little bit wavy too, and I'm not sure I'm in love with them, but we'll see.
Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. Please like and subscribe and comment. I love hearing what you guys are into and what you aren't. Also hit that bell to subscribe because I will be posting a little bit more frequently and probably irregularly, so don't be afraid to get notified when I post. Thank you so much. Bye.